AI and technology is coming for all our jobs. That's something even Wimbledon line judges have had to contend with. For the first time in nearly 150 years, the smartly dressed officials aren't dotted around the courts at the All England Club. They've been replaced by electronic line calling, but it hasn't exactly been smooth sailing so far.
Stop.
The ball clearly out, yet silence from the electronic line calling system.
You took the game away from me.
Stop. Ball was called out by the computer mid-point.
We all have tech issues. For more, we're joined by former Wimbledon line judge Pauline Eyre. Good morning, Pauline. Lovely to have you on the show today. What do you make of the fact that Wimbledon has done away with the line judges, but as you've just seen, still having those tech issues?
Funny, isn't it? Because they still need to be controlled by people, and people are fallible. But also, I heard today that even the Hawkeye system can be 2.5 millimeters either side wrong. So that's not completely correct and infallible either. Maybe infallible doesn't exist.
Yeah, I think the margin of error for Hawkeye is about the fluff on the tennis ball, so it's pretty close. But in terms of tradition there, Wimbledon is synonymous with it. To lose the line judges, part of the furniture, what does that mean for the tournament?
I agree. I think it looks really, really strange. I think it looks, when you look at the screen or you look at the court, it looks like we've been photoshopped out, which is an extraordinary thing. And I think it's really sad, mostly because, you know, the traditions are lovely. I didn't always agree with all of the traditions when I was working there, but some of the traditions are great. And I think, just as you said it in your start, Chris, it's like the idea that AI is coming for our jobs kind of thing. Well, you know, is AI better? Are machines better than actually having people involved? And sport, at the end of the day, is about people. The tennis that we play at club level, the tennis they play at Wimbledon level, is about people, and people, you know, players striving to be the best they can be with a load of other stuff going on that they have to cope with.
One of the big concerns I have as a tennis fan is how are chair umpires going to get the training required now that they don't have the line judges?
Yes, absolutely. Where is the next generation of chair umpires coming from? Because I spent the beginning of my career calling lines at local clubs, doing under 12 girls singles, you know, calling the lines, being the chair umpire. And that's how we cut our teeth, and that's how we learned how to do the job. And you slowly worked your way up to the top level. And where will that be in the future? Because if I'm calling lines at the girls under 12s, I haven't got the idea that one day maybe I could do that at Wimbledon. So fewer people will definitely go into the idea of officiating, and that's sad as well.
You know, one of the beautiful things about when you watch tennis live is that you see actually how many people are involved, all the line judges, the ball kids, all of those extras around the game, not just the two players on court. How is it going to feel now, do you think, now that we're starting to lose those?
Well, it's been looking really weird at Wimbledon because now about 80 of the officials were invited back this year to be match assistants or umpires' assistants, and they're all sitting at the side of the court. And on centre court, they're sitting at the service line where they used to be doing the job, and now they're just sitting bored. Well, I don't know if they're bored. I'm sure they're having a lovely time, but they're watching the game. They're dressed like butlers. And their job is to take the players to the toilet and supervise the ball change. So yeah, we're being reduced to being just kind of butlers, aren't we? Nothing more Wimbledon than that, I suppose. But I don't like it.
Pauline, I want to hear some stories and about the sort of players that you would have been involved in matches with at Wimbledon. Johnny Mack, did you ever do his matches?
I did. So it was towards the end of his career when I started, and the first time I ever went on court with him, I stood out like a sore thumb back in those days because I was very much younger than most of the other officials around, and so he saw me quite quickly. As soon as I made a call, it was that far out. It was a really easy call, and as soon as I called it, he just stood with his hands on his hips and stared at me, and I remember thinking, oh, I always thought you had a point, but that's okay, you're just trying to intimidate me. And it didn't intimidate me because I knew I was right. It's more intimidating, of course, when the ball's been really close and you think, oh God, was I wrong? But so that was fascinating. I did, so yeah, just a few times worked with Johnny Mack.
So you never had the "you cannot be serious" or him shouting at you?
He didn't shout at me, no. I was lucky there. Plenty of others did, and I had my share of players shouting in my face. But we were very well trained. We were drilled to stand with our hands behind our backs, totally impassive, and just take it. that's what you had to do.
And isn't that part of the drama, part of the entertainment value that actually, we want correct decisions, but that's actually part of the entertainment of watching these games, isn't it?
Absolutely agree. And there you are. That's the nub of it, isn't it? You've had just as many controversies this year at Wimbledon. You've had just as many times when people have said, Emma Raducanu said the machine was wrong. Jack Draper said the machine was wrong. There have been others, and the machine was switched off in error. And today the machine yelled out in the middle of the point. There's just as much controversy. All you've done is taken something joyful away from the viewing public and also those 300 line judges who are no longer working, which is such a shame. Is
there any way back, or is that it? Do you think all Grand Slams are just going to go and do away with line judges now?
There's only one Grand Slam left. It's going to be difficult. Open because you've got the marks on the court and the players didn't like it there either. So I think you're always going to have that. I mean, it's very hard to turn progress back, isn't it, when we go towards machinery? But you know what? It'll be, it's solicitors now are losing their jobs to AI. What will it be next? Will your job get replaced?
Yeah, well,
it won't be as good, Chris.
You'd be surprised at the rate of change in this industry, Pauline, or maybe not. Lovely to talk to you, Pauline Eyre, former Wimbledon line judge, and hopefully you can enjoy with some strawberries and cream this year from a different perspective.